Senior Center. I'm Amy Beck. I'm the Director of Senior Services and Director of the Senior Center. And I have Ashley Shaheen, who's the Assistant Director of the Senior Center, here with me today. We're here to let you know that while the doors of the Senior Center continue to be closed, the staff is still around to help you and talk with you and get you anything that you need. So we hope you take advantage of being in touch and give us a call. But I also wanted to say this is a live show, so we'd love to hear from you. You're welcome to call in and just give a shout out, say hi to people, or just, talk to our guests. Our number is 508-435-7887. So feel free to give us a call. We do want to hear from you. We hope you are listening, and we want to say hi. So with us right now, though, I do have Chief Bennett. As many of you already know, Chief Bennett's been with the police force for 27 years. And that's a long time, Chief. But during that time, I could list off everything. I know we've seen it and heard it all before, but we want you to say hi and just maybe give a shout out to whoever.
Well, thank you, Amy. I'm really happy to be here, both in this seat and on this show today. For those that know me, I think they know how much I care about the community, and the conversation today is part of that. Over the years, we've had a lot of fantastic officers that have connected with the seniors. I mean, you guys know the names: Pat O'Brien and Steve Buckley and so many others. But we never really had a formal position. And when I came in as chief, I was thinking about how can we get better and how can we better serve. And this just jumped right out, especially amidst the COVID and the isolation and loneliness everyone was feeling. And so I put the proposal out for people, and Molly came back with a 4-page, amazingly well thought out proposal for the program that is going to be the foundation, the bedrock of it. And I couldn't be more proud to have Molly as the Elder Affairs Officer. This is the most exciting thing going on right now in the department, and we all stand with her. We have a whole community engagement group, and she's already done more than the whole group in its entirety. So I want to thank you in front of everybody, Molly, for stepping up and already delivering so much. And there's no person better suited for the job. And again, I'm proud to have you there.
Thank you, Chief. I really appreciate that. I'm incredibly excited for this opportunity. I was telling Chief during this process, one of my favorite places to stop during my 2 years thus far has been the Senior Center. I know last fall I attended the variety show, and just seeing all the acts performed by the seniors and just seeing how important that place plays a role in this community was amazing. So I'm really excited to get started, to get to know more of the seniors in town, and to be a liaison between the police department and seniors. So
I think that's wonderful, Molly, and welcome into your new role. And I don't know about people watching at home, but I'm very curious about this 4-page recommendation of what to come and what you'll be doing. So love to hear a little bit more about that if you feel comfortable sharing. I'm sure it's still in the process of being formulated and how to execute, but love to hear a little bit more about it.
Absolutely. Lots of new ideas. As Chief said, obviously this is a new position, so don't necessarily know what directions we're going to go yet, but a lot of ideas. I know one of the primary ideas was hopefully getting involved with the schools and the student resource officers and getting them involved with the senior community, whether that be having pen pals or drawing pictures and giving them to the seniors. I know I'll have to take a look at all my things right here.
Well, one thing Molly has already been doing is she's come up and on a number of days helped deliver, not take the meals, but be at the curb when we were handing out the meals for those who are picking up their meals. And that's been a great way for her to meet at least a few of our seniors.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we've lost as a department, as we suffered the loss of so many full-time, really amazing officers, I hear a lot that from people, including seniors, I don't know anybody anymore. And so when we don't know our police department and we don't know uh, the uniform can be intimidating. So just, I mean, just recognizing the value of that, seeing Molly stand with you, giving food or providing food to seniors that's so powerful. And to see her smile or any of our smiles you know, it's reassuring, I think. And we gotta work hard to reconnect with the community because we lost people, so many officers that had decades of relationships with the community. So,
Well, and
Yeah.
now with everyone shut down, it makes it even more difficult to get
right.
to know people. So we're excited to have Molly when she's around, and we love seeing all your officers. I know that the fall brings us our bocce tournament, and we hope we can bring that back this year. And I've seen Molly at a couple of those, but we are definitely hoping we can still have that this year.
I hope so, because we're gonna win this year. This is the year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Listen to the
Well,
fire
now,
department.
wait just a minute. The seniors took it finally last year. I think we're on a roll, so.
Yeah, well, I'm, you know, as competitive as we are, we got to beat the fire department. This is just terrible.
Absolutely, I agree, Chief.
And I do want to jump in again. This is a live show. We would love to hear from people. So if you want to call in, the number is 508-435-7887. If you have a question for Molly or the chief or one of us, we'd love to answer that, or, you know, just say hi.
I have a question for the chief.
All right.
Can you, how was the transition for you coming as a deputy into your new position you've had for a few months now? What was the biggest surprise for you or biggest learning curve, or
Well, that's easy.
aside from COVID?
Oh, okay. Or civil unrest.
Yeah,
Oh, aside from those, well, it's
you
been
can
a
speak
pretty
to both of those because I think all of us are trying to ride the wave with each
Sure.
and navigating.
Well, fortunately, we have a great structure here, and we've built a team that a really high functioning team. So as far as day-to-day operations of the police department, it was extremely smooth transition, and I have to credit Chief Lee with that. He was very comfortable delegating and teaching and sharing responsibilities. So the lieutenant and I have even though we're down a position right now and we're down you know, there is no deputy right now. We're working pretty smoothly and cohesively, which is good because you know, the majority of my day is spent on you know, the COVID and speaking to people about you know, racial injustice and those topics, as well as dealing with the high level of anger in the community. And we're experiencing a lot of neighborhood disputes and things that I'm getting involved in and trying to turn the temperature down a lot. So most of my day isn't what a traditional chief does. It's completely not the job. I have a big book that I wrote over years of watching chiefs and leaders and studying and reading leadership books. It's pretty much shelved. You know, I don't think I got past the first two sentences. So it's different. It's not obviously not what I expected, but the actual being a chief in the department, it was very smooth transition. We have a great team, and the officers are amazing. It's amazing at that level, given how many years, the average years of service. It's amazing how high functioning this department is, and there's no other place I'd rather be. So proud to be here with them.
Well, and I know looking at what's going on in the community as far as with COVID and everything else, I've been impressed with how smoothly everyone's working together to make things happen. And I know no one's enjoying being at home and no one's enjoying being isolated. And you know, I'm at home, Ashley runs in and out of work, we all run in and out of work, but you guys are there every day. And I have been very impressed with the police and fire and dispatch, who are all every day having to be out in the community and you know, and with everyone home, yeah, you're right. I'm sure there's a lot more neighborhood issues than there ever were. So we appreciate all that you do.
Thank you.
So Molly, what is one of the biggest things that you hope that we can do? I mean, do you have something that you really want to see happen that maybe we can start working towards? Or
One of the biggest issues we're facing as a department right now are the scams, targeting particularly the senior population. DA Marion Ryan touched upon it in her presentation, specifically the grandparent scam, where these scam artists are calling the senior population pretending to be their grandchildren. They'll say they've been in an accident or they're in jail and they need money. And unfortunately, in a lot of cases, those seniors will give them money and they're out sometimes thousands of dollars. So I guess educating the senior population on that is a big thing for us right now, I would say, and getting that word out. And I would really recommend anyone watching this to take a look at DA Ryan's presentation. It was great, and I think they would get a lot out of it. So
We learned stuff from it, and we're doing this every day. So yeah, she was wonderful.
That's a nice introduction, as we are planning to show a piece of it on the show today, and it will be uploaded to our website so folks can watch it in its entirety. I know when I listened to it on Friday, it put me a little bit on edge. I tend to really trust what people say, and I think people are good-natured, but some people aren't, and take advantage of others. So you kind of always have to be on guard and wary about where you give your information and how much information you give at any point in time. And yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But I think
no, I was going to say, just along those lines, just being alert to it. I mean, it's so easy to fall for it. You have someone call in and you trust that they're someone who wants to do the right thing. And all of a sudden you find yourself saying something and you went, oh, not supposed to tell them that, or I'm not supposed to say that word. You don't say yes, you don't this, you don't that. And I think she did a great presentation. It's not really to scare people, but just tell people to be alert and aware of, as we tell you, if you're walking any place, you have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to be aware of where you are. And the same thing holds true when you get phone calls or when things come in the mail, that you just need to be aware and alert and take a second look, because sometimes it's not what it seems.
Absolutely. And don't hesitate to call us. And because people do call and report them. So we usually know it doesn't take long when a new scam comes out before we know it. And we're always here for you.
Yeah.
And you do want to hear from them. You do want to have people call.
Yep. Even for example, the unemployment scam, we had an officer that was a victim of the unemployment scam. But he didn't lose any money, but he was notified that someone had filed, and he responded and told them, no, I'm not filing for unemployment, I'm working. And so it's good for us to know. And part of the problem is when please don't ever feel ashamed if you have lost money or made not a mistake, but been a victim of this. There's no shame in it. We get calls every day about this, and unfortunately people in our community lose money every day, and there's absolutely no shame in it. They're very skillful.
People of all ages as well. It's not just happening to older people. So
Absolutely.
So Ashley, did you want to share a little bit of that, and then a little teaser, and then we can bring that, but remember, as Ashley said, you will be able to access the whole talk coming up.
Mm-hmm. All right, just bear with me for a second while I share my screen, and hopefully the audio comes out clear on your end as well.
And I'm going to talk today about a few things, but one of them is going to be about some of the scams that we have with us always. And, the chief, even though he's new to the spot, has already been on top of what's been going on in town and what you've been seeing from your neighbors and the people that you know in town, to really give you kind of a local flavor. Because things on TV sometimes and you think, oh, that's never happening here. So that's a real difference. And, I want to start by talking first about a couple of things that one of the good things about the pandemic has been, there've been a lot of things we can learn from this, and a lot of things, as awful as it's been, a lot of things that we can take going forward. And one of the good things is, I think for many of us, being home and having to stay in our houses and sort of keep to ourselves has given us a little bit of that experience of being alone or being cut off maybe from the people we're normally talking to. And I know it doesn't seem connected to scams, but when we talk about that, you'll see that scams, if I were to, even as we're talking on Zoom, if I were to single out any one of you and offer you kind of one of these scam things, while you're on Zoom and you got lots of people watching and the police officers and the police chief are here, you'd probably say, that's silly. I would never do that. And yet, every single day in Middlesex County, unfortunately, dozens and dozens of people do give in to those scams and send money or send property. And you wonder, how does that happen? And one of the things is, scams flourish really in secret. Because if I stood up here right now and said to you, I'm the IRS, please go to CVS and buy me a green dot gift card to pay your taxes. I can see people, even for the people I can see people smiling. You wouldn't think, gee, I think I'll run and get a gift card to pay my taxes, because the IRS is not running on gift cards. And yet, every single month, we have hundreds of people who do that. And it's not because they aren't smart. It's not because they're not financially sophisticated. It is because, first of all, scammers are good at their job. And second of all, they get people when they're vulnerable. And sometimes, it is why what the chief talked about, why some communities are vulnerable, maybe they're talking to you on the phone and they're talking so fast and you're having a hard time following them, or maybe you didn't quite hear what they said, or they're at your front door and they've got a bunch of papers and maybe you don't have your glasses and you didn't kind of read all of that and you're doing something that you normally wouldn't do. And a piece of what we're learning from this is lots of the people who fall victim to these scams are people who are sort of isolated from other people. And, one of the things we've learned during this pandemic is you can be socially distant, but not socially unconnected. The fact that we've all become so adept at Zoom, probably we weren't using Zoom this much last December. But we figured out that it's a way to be in touch with people. And scams die when somebody says to somebody else, hey, can I run this by you? Can I tell you what they're asking me to do? Sometimes even just hearing yourself say it out loud makes you realize that sounds really silly. So one of the things that I'm always asking people, and especially people who come to or tune into what we're talking about, is I am sure that every one of you knows somebody who really is kind of disconnected. Maybe it's somebody in your building, somebody in your neighborhood, somebody in a group that you go to, maybe somebody you used to see all the time somewhere and now you don't see them anymore. And sometimes because of caregiving responsibilities or health issues or mobility issues, people kind of fall out of contact with people. And I think in the same way we've all learned to connect on Zoom, if people make that extra effort of just reaching out to somebody, trying to get them a little more connected, it really benefits everyone.
So I think that's exactly what you guys were talking about, how important and how subtle and easy it can happen to any of us, and it can happen to the best of us. And what we need to do is get in touch with you guys.
Mm-hmm. And I love the point too that the DA made about loneliness and people who are feeling isolated, especially now during the whole stay-at-home orders. People are feeling less connected, and the senior center is a perfect spot for people to reach out to. So if you're feeling that way, call us, get in touch. We'll help you get connected, whether it be just a friendly voice on the other end, someone to talk to. I think whenever I talk to some of my friends, I feel so much better. And I think that's true for many of us. And then getting in touch, maybe trying out some of our virtual classes that we have. I know we've mentioned this a number of times on the show, but it's a great way to keep moving in all aspects, educationally, physically, emotionally. I think it has a lot of benefit, and we do have people that can help you get up to speed and how to access those programs. And I just want to invite the chief and Molly every Wednesday. Our receptionist, Lisa Deneen, hosts a coffee hour, and it's a nice opportunity to meet some of the seniors and just to introduce yourself. We would love to have either or both of you to pop in. I think some communities, when things go back to normal, have coffee with the cop. So maybe that's something that we could look into in the future.
Absolutely,
I
I would
think,
love to do that.
well, that's good. I mean, I know, even if it's just a quick hi, they love talking and seeing everybody. And, I know that unfortunately what we're doing with the virtual classes isn't able to meet everybody's need. And for that, I wish we had a solution. We're trying, and we're also trying to figure out how things will look when we do come back and how to make things. I don't know that it won't be the same the first day and all of that, but we are working to make it good and helpful for everyone. But I think, getting back to the scams, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask a neighbor. If you're concerned, run it by a neighbor, a friend, a family member. You know what? If a kid's, I'm a parent, and if my kid was in trouble and someone's trying to scam my mother, she better give me a call and say, look, I know you don't want to know this, but I'm getting this call, and someone knows she's upstairs in her room. She's okay. So I think that the important thing is to reach out, talk to people, call the police, ask them if they're getting these things. Unfortunately, they seem to come in waves. Is that true in the community?
Molly?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of the unemployment fraud. We probably, today alone, we probably had 3 or 4 calls already. So just stay alert.
I just looked at, when you heard me typing, I was looking in our data. We've had 94 reported fraud attempts this year.
Wow.
We're only in June, and this is just Hopkinton. So when the DA says that they have 100, on a regular basis, that shows you the scope of it. So I was sitting here thinking about a couple things, and thinking about generally seniors are reluctant to call because they feel like they're bothering us. And there are a couple really days in my life, in my career, that stand out. I was a dispatcher in Sutton, and the woman that lived at the end of the road at an intersection, we all knew her name, and I don't remember her name. She called, and this is what she said. She said, I know you guys are busy. I don't want to bother you, but I have smoke coming out of all of my outlets, and I can hear something in the walls. And I'm like, okay, can you just do me a favor and get everybody out of the house and go out front? And she said, yeah, please don't use the lights and siren. Basically, her whole house was on fire inside the walls and like burned to the ground in like 3 minutes.
Wow.
But I remember thinking, why would she be so reluctant to call? And then when I came here in my first year, like I worked there for 2 years, and I came here as a full-time police officer. Bill McRobert, the chief, came and walked over to me and said, hey, can you go check on the house on the corner of West Elm and West Main Street? There's a couple that lived there, and there had been a bad snowstorm, but we were like 3 days out from it, and it was still really cold and raw, and the cleanup was in process. So I knock on the door. I can see that their power line's down, and I knock on the door. There's no answer. I hear something. I come around the back, and they're living in a screen porch, and they had like one outlet in the house that worked, and they had an electric burner, and they've been living there for 3 days, and their phone worked. They never called us. They're like, please, we're here. Your community has built a police department to serve and to have time to serve on every issue. But those things, thinking about the reluctance of some people to call, don't call us. Call us with anything. we go to all sorts of calls, bumps in the nights, and I heard something. We check the house in the middle of the night. We do that stuff all day long, and that's what the community expects from us, and that's what we deliver. So, and we like it. We like to get out and meet good people.
Well, and those are the easy ones. So they don't mind talking to you. They'd love to hear from you. And again, if there is a need, reach out, please. We're very fortunate here with the town, and the town supports all our services. And I'm really excited to say that this is a big one with the police and what they can do. So call, and especially now having Molly, as the elder officer, I think this is really great. And so reach out, give us a call, give the police a call if you have questions. And, as always, people are here to help. And it's not a silly question. We tell kids all the time, no question is silly. Well, if you're concerned about something, you just call, reach out.
Absolutely. There are a lot of services in this community. There, between we have a clinician with the jail diversion program to help people in crisis. And then we have with youth and family service, we have people that maybe need to talk to someone about something that's more complex. And there's services right here in your community that most communities don't have because of the caring nature that starts with the select board and the town manager, and is well supported. There are a lot of things going on in Hopkinton to help the community that don't happen in other communities.
So, and that's something to remember also as the senior center. We have these virtual programs, but the senior center, our outreach coordinators, Marlene and Kim, are definitely prepared and ready to talk to you. They can help you with any number of situations, from, whether you need help accessing food or whether you need help with any kind of medical equipment. We're here to help you. I know that, the rest of the staff is there to answer questions, and we're making calls. So if you receive a call from the senior center and you have a need, don't be afraid to ask. There's a lot of services in town that are here to help. And, the senior center is still there. We're still there to help you. We cannot wait to be back. I know every time we talk with the staff together as a staff, when are we going to be open? When can we see people? And so if you have the ability to access some of the virtual stuff, you do get a chance to see people. But don't forget that you can still talk to us, and we are here for you, and we want to talk to you. So feel free to give us a call. Let us know if there's a need. Let the police know if you're concerned about something. And we're still operating. The big thing is we're still operating, just a little differently than before.
And Amy, one thing that you've said that you didn't touch on is you guys miss them.
Absolutely.
You told me that, and it goes both ways, I'm sure, because given the quality of your staff and the people that volunteer and work at the senior center, I know they all miss seeing the seniors in the building and watching them and engaging with them. It's vibrant. It's nice when you walk through there and you see the groups, whatever type of group it is, playing pool or cards or knitting or crocheting. They're tight and it's a lot of energy. There's a lot of really positive energy in that building, and it's a joy to walk through.
Well, thank you. And I know that everyone feels that way. We do miss everybody. Now, I know that we're running out of time, but I did want to remind everyone that, we also have meals if you're in need 4 days a week. So give us a call. We'll try to get you on them. So the number at the senior center is 508-497-9730. Reach out to us. But again, thank you, Molly and Chief, for coming on. And just a reminder that we're here. The senior center is here for you. Give us a call, but stay safe. Wear your mask when you're out in public, and keep moving with the senior center, and enjoy your town.